Yep.
All right, welcome back. This is it. Final form of the SIG P365-XMacro, XXL macro. This is the long slide variant of the macro idea. This is the Icarus frame, TLR7 sub for a little extra weight and light, and the ported slide up front. So I went with the ported slide for this video and for this review because it's legal now in IDPA. But let's check out a few more stages. Shot this at an ASI match this weekend, and then I'll come back with an overview of the gun and let you show it to you in the box, and then the pros and cons. All right, there it is in the CCP box. Just notice I'm recording upside down, but I can flip that around. So there it is inside the CCP box. It's super thin, so width isn't an issue. The Four Brothers holster, it does fit in that, even though that was designed for the original framed 365. This thing comes in at about 26 ounces, which is a decent weight for a CCP gun. The Legion is a little bit heavier, but as you can see, this is the reason I went with this one is because IDPA has now authorized the ported barrel or ported slide that's not attached to the barrel. So wanted to give that a shot. The controls are all as per usual, same as the last one. The slide release, takedown lever, magazine release switch to the other side. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that's her. Let's look at a few more stages, and we'll come back with some more pros and cons. All right, there you have it. 6 or 7 stages. Shot this at ASI because it's just what was going this weekend, and it's a good, usually you can get out to an ASI match and shoot it pretty quick and not have to worry about, a wife or somebody else or your husband if you're a girl, getting mad that you're, taking all of a Saturday to go shoot. But this one gets like, I think there's 87 people at the ASI match. So that's a pretty big match for a local, which is cool. As you saw, there was one stage where I took I know that their intention was for you to carry this cooler and shoot it all one-handed. And I was like, all right, but in the description, it said you just have to put it in the bin at the end, and then you're good to go. And so I asked the guy who was on our squad, I was like, hey, man, like, this is what I could do this, just put it in there. He said, yep. So I ran over there and put it in there and then shot it all two-handed. And boy, did that cause a mess. Yeah, they were pretty mad about it. I don't know. Just speaking to that in general, like, if you're really upset that somebody's not doing it exactly the way you're doing it, I don't understand why that's such a big idea or a big problem. But it was. So causing more problems than I needed to, I guess. I got myself a penalty for, just screwing around. But that's what it is. Let's get into the pros and cons for this guy. Pros, with the weight of this thing, 26 ounces is not super heavy for a CCP gun, but CCP with the 108 power factor ammo that I'm running through these things is super flat shooting. And I don't know that the ported barrel helps out, especially on ammo that's so light anyway. But somebody, Humble Marksman, I think, did a recoil thing showing the angle of using the port. I think he was using 124s, maybe 147s, but either way, I'm not sure with as light of rounds I'm shooting that it makes a whole lot of difference, but maybe. I can tell you that the recoil is super light, so that was cool. Another pro is that it fit in my existing holster, so I just ordered a Four Brothers holster when I was working on the other macro, and I didn't think it was going to fit, but I had the TLR7 sub on the other one, which I've only got one of those lights, but I put it on this one just screwing around to see if it would fit in the holster. I didn't think it would because the Icarus frame has the speed ledges on both sides, and but it fit in there great because the speed ledges don't stick out further than the light does, so it fit in there just fine. Another pro, the double undercut on the most of the Icarus frames now is just awesome. Tried to replicate it on a couple of different guns from SIG. It didn't really work, so I paid like $500 for essentially nothing on the AXG frames. But live and learn. You know, if you really want me to change something, you hit me in the where it hurts, the wallet. So, the trigger is stock but good. Something I'll get into in a minute. This is the FCU you can buy separately. I can't remember. The SIG Custom Shop FCU. So that fit in this frame just fine. The other one did not. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Last thing, I don't know if this is necessarily a pro. Well, it's not necessarily a pro. I don't really know. It's not a con though either. Is that when usually, like if you shoot a lot and you're right, you load and make ready, okay, and you put a round in, rack the slide, I can feel the round pick up off of the magazine and go into the chamber. There was a bunch of times, well, every time that I shot this thing, where I was like, did it take a round? And so I'm checking, and I can see it did, so I'm okay, but I couldn't feel it, which was a new sensation or new thing for me. I haven't had that happen before. The cons, which is, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, I have more cons than I do pros, but I think that's because I've been working up to this, and so a lot of the pros, I'm just not rehashing again that it works for a left-handed person, it shoots really well, or all that stuff, because I've already said it in other videos, and you can go watch those in the playlist where they are. I forgot what it's called. So first con, the older FCU, the one that Nick Brody did the trigger job for me, it won't fit in the Icarus frame. Like the custom shop one, goes in and out of the Icarus frame like it's no problem. I don't know if there's something dimensionally different between because this is like this is the oldest, the one that's worked over is the oldest FCU 365 FCU that I have. So I don't know if it was different back then or what, but it just won't, because they go in differently. They kind of go into the top. I don't want to show you because I don't want YouTube to I don't know what they do, take away your birthday if you show gun stuff. But if you put it, you put it down first and then kind of push it, it kind of just drops in. The custom shop one drops right in, the other one doesn't. So I don't know what the difference is, but there's a big enough difference that it won't work, which kind of stinks because that slide and the M Carbo worked over trigger is like perfect, but it's good either way. Another con, the ambi speed ledge can kind of get in the way. So I guess, I don't know, it happened a couple of times where I was like, it shouldn't matter much, you're just moving your finger to the trigger, but I kept kind of like getting my finger caught on this thing. I'm just not used to having it there. That'll probably go away if I, once I shoot this gun enough, but just something I noticed that I didn't really care for. So while the gun did fit into the holster that I have currently for the XMacro, holster compatibility is kind of hard in general. It's just because there's only a few companies, and Icarus lists them on their website, but there's only a few holster makers that are molding these things for the Icarus frame. But if you don't mind waiting, if you're like me, I'm like, no, this is the age of Amazon. Like whatever I want, I push a button and it comes to my house. But you have to wait a little bit, but they'll make it for you. There's Lag Tactical, Four Brothers Fits. There's other holster manufacturers that'll make them for you. But yeah, so kind of a con in that. The mag release is a little small. So I think it was the stage where I was sitting down. Like I was really pushing on this button, and it doesn't. I don't know how well you can see that, but it doesn't stick out quite as far. And after the fact, looking for mag releases, I just assumed they were the same, but apparently they're not. because I took it out of another 365 build that I had and put it in the Icarus frame. But when I went to buy an extended one, because I was like, oh, I'll just, here's a problem, we'll solve it. Um, a bunch of the manufacturers said, this is our extended 365 mag release. It will work in all of the 365 models, but not the macro. So I don't know if it's just because it's a little fatter, but it seemed a little small. So I did find one. I hope, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I bought a gold one because there's so much gold on here, and I didn't pay attention. So maybe it'll get here and it won't work. Either way, sort of a con. Probably the biggest one for me. It still doesn't shoot quite as well as the Comp 320 not competition, the compact Legion 320 with the Legion frame that I've got, because it's just the Legion is 10 ounces heavier. So this with this ammo and that weight, like, it's just such a sweet little shooter that I don't see this. The intention was that maybe this could be a replacement for those guns for CCP, because this is duplicable a word? I can duplicate this gun more easily should I break a frame or something and that's probably a dumb idea. Like, I'm probably not going to. The other ones are probably going to be fine. I'm not going to break them, but they're a modified frame, so I can't do it. I'm not capable. So if one of those breaks, I have to find somebody who can do it. The guy that did it now is not in business, so I thought, oh, maybe if I could, build this, it'll be more expensive, but it's something I could do should I break one. But yeah, it's just, I don't think it's going to work. I think that in addition to being heavier, 10 ounces heavier, the compact Legion, it's a mouthful making all these guns. It's just a little wider, and it seems to take up more real estate in my hand, and I shoot it better too. So that just is what it is. Another con, Icarus fooled me a little bit. It's not really their fault, it's my fault because I didn't read, but I've been watching on their website forever. Like, this is the one I want. I want this frame right here, this one. But so they put out an email that said, hey, we're going to do the pre-order. It's December. It was like, I think it was like Christmas Eve, the 23rd, maybe. I don't know. I said, hey, we're going to do the pre-order. And so I said, perfect. But it's Christmas time and I'm at the, family's house, and I set an alarm and I went on and I clicked, boom, that's the same one. It's in the same spot on the website that I wanted before. Boom, buy, go, back to Christmas time. And then probably like 2 or 3 weeks later, because it took like 16 weeks for this thing to get here, I'm, dreaming about it, and I'm looking at the order, and I'm like, this is the sub. So this is, you can't see it very well, but I wanted the one that came all the way out to here. But I got the sub because they had moved the one I wanted. I didn't even know there was a sub, but they had switched it around on the website. And so me not paying attention, got the one I didn't necessarily want. But they were cool about it. Because on their website, they're like, nothing can change what you've ordered. This is what you have. What you ordered is what you get. And, and I was like, so I sent them a message like, hey guys, I screwed this up. Your website, had changed. I didn't, it was Christmas. I didn't pay attention. And they were like, all right, well, let us know which one you want and we'll switch it out. So that was cool of them if they would, that they were willing to do that. But after I got to thinking about it, I was like, you know what? That'd be kind of cool to be able to throw a regular 365 or maybe one of those 380 slides on this thing, because it would just, it would be cool to screw around with. And I'm into screwing around. So I didn't change it and left it with that. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. I guess it's not a con, maybe a con. I guess the con is I screwed up and ended up getting what I wanted anyway. Last thing, yeah, kind of not really about the gun itself, but I'm really struggling with appendix carry. So not that I'm doing it for concealed carry, but it's just so awkward because I'm in every other division or every other sport I shoot, I'm coming off my left hip because I'm left-handed. That when I go draw from this, it's like I'm screwing it up every time from appendix. So I don't know. I might see if I can get an outside the waistband holster for this thing, for this gun. But I'm not sure that I'm gonna continue, at least for competition, serious competition anyway. Because that was the thought too, was that I'll switch guns. It'll be a thinner gun for CCP, and I'll run that along with running an appendix, which is the same way I carry, and it'll kind of translate to the way I carry. But I don't know. I'm just not liking it. But I still think that it would be fun to do this at locals and screw around with it in that way. So anyway, that's all for this one. If you have the time, check out our website, www.dz214.com, where you can donate to the charities we support. If you like videos like this, check out. They're down here, but they're not. I don't know. There's a playlist. It's like IDPA match playlists or match reviews or something like that. But it's on the channel. Check that out. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.